as humanity, really so foolish that we can't see the obvious? Do we not understand how serious the climate threats are and how quickly they progress? Do you see it? Look at this graph. You don't need to be Einstein or Chalakian to understand it, yeah? See, there was little, and now there's a lot. But a lot of bad, not good. A lot of danger for all of our lives. There are more destructive earthquakes now, and there will be even more every single day. Is that really not clear?
I also feel a great responsibility for my little daughter, who is 6 years old. I remember the moment when I first saw her tiny hands when she was a newborn baby, holding her tiny fingers, made me realize how vulnerable she is in this world. I realize that I am essentially the only person who can protect her. She came into this harsh world full of injustice and violence. And she doesn't know anything about it yet. But she relies on my protection. I am the only one who can protect her in this world and provide her with safety. And now, during our conversation in the studio, I realized
Stop screaming, it's okay. It's not gonna make it any better. Holy shit, this is the aftermath of the storm. Oh my god, our whole backyard is ruined.
I know our house is ruined, but we are so lucky that we're all here, okay?
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
so lucky.
Holy moly, that was...
Oh, we're gonna die.
No, our people... This is our court. That's our house.
Come back over here. This is the problem. Boom. Come back over here. This is the problem. Because people don't really realize what's happening. So they think this is a game. If the game is coming quickly to an end, my apologies, people. I wanted to get my phone in a good position to zoom in. See the stationary object between the 12 and 1 o'clock position, green orb. So let me zoom into that. It is what it is, people. It is what it is.
That we haven't been able to shake off because the first thing we have to do to shake off our ancestral slave history is get a white man back his God. And we refuse to do that. We need to give him back his name. We refuse to do that. We think these things are not important, but they didn't do anything to us that wasn't important. Everything was designed to rob us of ourselves and make them the people that are the best. When actually, you are the best. We have the best man on the planet. Everybody want our man but us. And that's what it was designed to do. All of the things that have been put in us. But it's very difficult now because we function almost as enemies. We don't function as helpmates. If a man asks a woman these days to prepare a meal, many of our women tell them, I ain't your mama. But they didn't stop eating when they was just with their mother. Food is what sustains life. We don't even teach cooking anymore. Our women don't know how to prepare a meal, how to actually cook with food. And so that's a problem because that's a problem for your health as black men and our children. Because what you eat generally determines what your health is going to be for the next 20, 30, or 40 years. It's what you put in your body. So preparing food is very important. But that's something that also has been kicked to the curb. We don't have people to do that. If you want to cook today, you got to go to cooking school because you're not going to learn it at home.
An amazing revelation has been discovered. But first, let us begin with the ancient Sumerian story. Enki, though brilliant, was a spoiled child, jealous of his brother-in-law, and wanting a kingdom of his own. When Nibiru was faced with the crisis of loss of atmosphere, the Anunnaki decided to mine gold on the earth to reseed their atmosphere. Enki saw it as an opportunity to grab power. He fomented a worker revolt, knowing that he could use Nibiru's emergency to force the council to accept anything. Enki wanted a world filled with slaves that he could rule over, which is something neither the council nor the Anunnaki would have ever allowed. But Enki was shrewd. He convinced the council that Nibiru would die if the gold-seeded atmospheric shield was delayed. He convinced them that the workers would not return to duty as they were following his orders, since he was in charge of the mining operation. He convinced the council that the only solution was to create a non-sentient species out of the highest order ape available to do the labor, but make them incapable of reproduction so they would naturally die off. The council saw no alternative, so they reluctantly and conditionally agreed, and they allowed Enki to carry out the plan. But Enki pulled a fast one and gave the new species the ability to breed, wanting a permanent stock of slaves for his planned kingdom. Enki went even further. He didn't just manipulate the ape's DNA, but he actually infused Anunnaki DNA into the mix. This would give him slaves that he would find attractive and acceptable to be in the company of. Enki did this both in the laboratory and also allowing his loyal striking workers to inseminate the females he created. This we find in Genesis 6, which led to the Nephilim. When Lord Anu and his son, Lord Enlil, learnt of this treachery, Enlil was sent to the earth to correct his brother's sin against the universe. As the Anunnaki have very strong moral code, Enlil took over on earth and brought Enki to justice, but it was too late. Enki had created several abominable and potentially dangerous seed lines, all without an Anunnaki spirit and without Anunnaki morals and virtues.
All without Anunnaki spirit, morals, and virtues. Soulless beings. This is what he created. Soulless beings that and they wasn't supposed to reproduce. Soulless beings that wasn't supposed to reproduce. And look at what happened. This is the best video right here that I have found. And this was many years ago. And this was an ancient video, or old video of mine.
These were savage slaves that resembled the Anunnaki, but were violent beasts. The council decided that such an abomination must never be allowed to progress. because they would be a cancerous infestation to the universe
Yes.
and a danger to any other species they encountered. But
And a danger to any other species they encounter. What happens with the eukaryotic cell organisms? White man, Asian man, Arab man, don't make a difference. What happens when they find something new? What the first thing that they want to do? They want to capture it and they want to dissect it. They are a threat to all life. That's why they are, and they're abomination. They will not be allowed to leave this plane.
because of Anunnaki morals, the genocide of a related race was nearly unthinkable. So they decided to let a natural event destroy this abomination. They knew that Nibiru's next close pass by the earth would cause massive flooding, wiping out the abomination. They decided to let it happen. Enki didn't want to lose this opportunity to have a kingdom of his own, so he went against the orders of the council and protected segments of his created beings from the flood.
And how did he create these beings? Right in the video, through the highest intelligent form of the monkey species. That's what they did. Chimpanzee, Bobono monkey, Rhesus, unisnub nose monkey, Rhesus monkey, the whole nine.
Council learnt of this. They were livid, and Enki paid a price for his treachery. But this left a growing species that was still as dangerous as ever. Satan, Erutelin, petitioned the council to eradicate man, so the threat would be contained. But man's true savior, Lord Enlil, who was Lord Rael, fought against Satan in front of the council on behalf of man. Lord Enlil argued that man was part Anunnaki and therefore possessed the divine spark. And if properly educated and nurtured, they could one day be equals. Satan vehemently disagreed, asserting that a species cannot be taught to have morals, that the law of love is either written in their hearts or it is not. The council found logic in both sides of the argument and offered a compromise. Since Satan was man's chief accuser, he and his people would be allowed to utilize part of Lord Enlil's plan to educate, but at the same time, weed out those that would not be capable of evolving. The plan would give Satan a set amount of time to fulfill this directive, after which he was to hand over the earth to its rightful custodians, the Anunnaki, at which point those that were considered evolvable would be educated and nurtured under the Anunnaki for a period of 1,000 years, before becoming full and free members of the council themselves.